Part 2 of the 57th episode surprised everyone with the amount of action per square meter. This is the longest episode in the entire series. Such a scale, epic, sadness, joy, and a lot of other things I experienced when watching the series has not been for a long time. However, we could miss a lot of interesting details. As we do not have time to keep track of one scene, you immediately get two new ones. So in this video, you will find out what happened to the cameraman Titan after the punch. Why did Speakerman Titan fly away as soon as he was healed, and where did he go? And most importantly, you will find out what happened to G-Man and learn the real reason for his fear and such a reaction. So watch this clip from start to finish. Let's go. The series starts with the moment we have already seen, as it is the second part of the 57th episode. As we remember, this is the moment with the destruction of the Plunger Man. By the way, as I have already suggested, it will be repaired. We will of course come back to it at the end of the showdown. Next, we suddenly see that G-Man lost two of his lasers after that very blow. Also, Cameraman Titan this time decided to use his core to attack, and at the end, he also hit him with his hammer. A remarkable detail. The previous time he hit his core when he fought with Titan Spikerman, and strangely enough, he didn't even use his cheater hammer. And note G-Man is aiming straight at the core, but Cameraman Titan realizes that there are two less lasers, and most likely 4 lasers won't be able to damage him, so he decides to open the airlock and make a tasty steak out of G-Man. One question is why he didn't use it against the speaker, probably because the agents wanted to cure the speaker, not make a tasty dinner out of him. He shut down his core for good measure in the last part, and for the same reason he didn't use the hammer, but carefully attacked and tried to defend himself more while he was waiting for that very appearance of TV Woman, about whom, by the way, I will talk a lot today, because I had a lot of questions for her. Here we see an epic flying Titan, and then the very first leak shot, which I have already shown you in the YouTube community. By the way, subscribe to the channel not to miss such leaks and new series breakdowns. There's no Defuke again. He disappeared again, and most likely through the same green portal, as there is no green glow visible here. Well, after a backbend, the Cameraman Titan decided to turn around and saw a toilet with 4 instruments of death. Then this genius did the dumbest thing ever, and instead of aiming for the head or the core, decided to stick the blades in the Titan's armpits. Titan, of course, almost died of laughter after such a joke, and decided to kill him with double slaps. Next came a parasite on a chopper. I don't know what they fed it for breakfast, but as we can see, it's huge. It looks like it's been cooked by the same chef from dinner. He realizes that he can't eat anymore. His personal chef has been eliminated, so he decides to infect Titan with Cameraman. Titan at the same time notices and grabs him. At this moment, we see that this parasite, instead of the usual tank, is some complicated system with buttons. And given its size, I think it could have successfully infected Cameraman, but we realize that the agents have protected his neck. And besides, as we'll find out later, even Titan's SPIKERMAN couldn't be cured so easily, and Titan had to buy time until TV Women could fix it. By this point, we have this picture. The toilet plan didn't go as planned. Yes, don't be surprised. They had a plan. In fact, their plan is exactly the same as the agents, and surprisingly, in theory, it should have worked out. They were going to use the Speakerman to hold him off for a while the parasite did its thing. But it went wrong. Cameraman destroyed them all, and the fool we know decided to defect. Although as we understand he was plan B, like if G-Man and Speakerman cannot, then let the most intelligent solve everything. Yeah, and his design looks like he could have perfectly timed these skewers on his hands to temporarily block them while the parasite does his Shuramura. Oh well, I could go on for hours about the stupidity of this new character. However, to be fair, even if he did get where he needed to go, it wouldn't have been much use, because the Titan broke his tentacles with one hand. When the camera zooms in, TV Woman appears out of the smoke. You may not have noticed, but right after the teleport, her hands turn into knives. That's something we saw in episode 56. What's interesting is she has nothing else but those knives. That means the parasite's Skibidi can be diffused without special equipment. We also hear this distinctive sound, which was already in the previous series, but it takes time to fully disarm, which the Plungerman didn't have. You see, so the Plungerman knew how to remove the parasite, because we're also hearing this distinctive popping sound, and he knew it would take a little longer than 2 seconds. And knowing that there was a 100% chance that the Speakerman Titan would get him, because no one was holding his hands, he climbed in and saved Cameraman's life anyway. As soon as TV Woman begins the process of eliminating the parasite, suddenly comes G-Man. It is very unexpected, as cameraman Titan's blows were too hard, but as we see, he is alive and well. Or rather, just alive, because he can hardly be called healthy. Then, here we see cameraman Woman from the 53rd episode, a dude with a red shirt, which is evidenced by the color of his trousers, as well as being on the roof. And then there's us, the character we're watching. That is, the task of all those on the roof is to attract attention in case of what they have successfully done. You can see by the look on G-Man's face that he's very afraid of the Titan. Just the look on his face was enough to make him run away. However, wait a minute. The Titan didn't look at him. He didn't even turn around. Then for what reason did he decide to bolt so abruptly when a second earlier he was so determined to give battle? In this scene, we see the answer to this question. The fact is that SPIKERMAN is cured, and the G-Man, as we know, does not like to fight alone. But still, there is actually another reason why G-Man reacted so strongly. We will come back to this question at the end of the video. The parasite itself is covered in blood and shows no signs of life. This tells us that TV Woman not only removed it from the control panel, but also killed it with his daggers. And here's the moment in which our penguin in love is once again offended. As much as we love Plungerman, I'll remind you that this dude loves TV Woman, and this is the second time she's completely ignored him. In my opinion, in the universe of Skibidi Toilets, the Plunger Man is Brad Pitt, and this penguin is just a passerby. And already in this episode, we see direct proof of that. Yeah, you're probably going to say Plungerman's light bulb didn't go on, and he needs more urgent help, but I think the Defook showed us this scene for a reason. It couldn't have been an accident that he put the penguin in the same frame, and that TV Woman saved Plungerman in front of him. We don't know exactly what this love triangle's relationship to each other is, however it's clear for sure that this storyline will continue. At least imagine what a penguin is willing to do for love, and what a man in love can do who is so defiantly rejected, and not for the first time. This agent may make rash moves, and most likely may even unknowingly harm his fellow man. His brain is clouded with TV Vumanam. He even on the battlefield looks at her picture. This is not normal at all. Give this guy a psychiatrist. If your girlfriend is rejecting you, stop chasing her. Get pumped up. Buy a couple of Von Sousas, save Titan with your life, and maybe then Mrs. TV Woman will pay attention to you. When the Titan throws the parasite on the floor, you can still see that it is a little bit alive, but not for long. Then a very cool and at the same time sad moment happens. We are shown Titan's SPIKERMAN, who can finally control his body for the first time in a long time. At this point, I started crying like I was a schoolgirl at my high school graduation. I'll explain why. The thing is that the SPIKERMAN Titan, by the way, all these atrocities, which made the parasite controlling his body, he observed with his own eyes. I mean, imagine that your own friends and colleagues are being killed by your hands, and you can't do anything about it. That's the answer to where the Titan spokesman flew off to. And here it is at the same time the answer to the other question of why G-Man left so quickly. G-Man was there for all of SPIKERMAN's atrocities. He knows what kind of dirt SPIKERMAN Titan did, and he was with him the whole time. And he was not just afraid that two Titans will go against him now, but rather he was afraid of SPIKERMAN Titan. After all, if he was healed, now Red has the opportunity to avenge G-Man for everything. Even if he is weaker than Titan's cameraman, he has 100 times more motivation to kill G-Man. Note that the Titan spokesman flew exactly in the same direction the Skibidi Steak flew. This is further proof that he saw everything with his own eyes, even while he was infected. The infected SPIKERMAN saw where the G-Man flew. He got control of his body back. He's no longer infected, and not 5 seconds later he's flying towards the escaped Skibidi. In future seasons we will definitely see Red's revenge on G-Man, and it's going to be very epic. Next, everyone shows each other the likes, and we see the flying machines of the engineers who came to fix all the broken agents, including our underrated penguin in love. Thank you for watching. Subscribe so you don't lose quality breakdowns of the Skibidi Toilet universe.